The Sodor Railway, Season 4, Episode 25, Season Finale and Series Finale. Everything must come to an end. It was now January of 1947, and the railway was not as busy as it was on its grand opening. It was almost the complete opposite. However, the engine still worked just as hard. While Falcon was a bit more lazy now, he still tried to work as hard as he could. However, this is how the railway closed. One day, Stanley was working as hard as he normally did. He was enjoying the work when suddenly, bang! Stanley had broken down. He went, I've broken down. Alfred! Yes, Stanley, said Alfred. Oh my gosh, you've broken down, said Alfred. But even worse news. What is it? The mines are going to flood. If I'm not active, then it's going to flood. I've been worn down too much over the years, and now I can't do anything to stop the mines from flooding if I'm broken down, said Stanley. Just then Atlas came up. Is everything okay? He asked. No, everything is not okay, said Alfred. What is it? Said Atlas. Tell Jason to get some trucks. The mines are flooding, said Alfred. Right, Jason, get some trucks. We have to save the miners, said Atlas. Stanley, we got to get you out of here, said Alfred. No, Alfred, keep me here, said Stanley. But Stanley, said Alfred. No, leave me here. It's what I deserve after being rude to everyone. But you've improved over the years, said Alfred. I may have, said Stanley. But if no miners make it out, I'd rather want to keep them company than let them be there alone, said Stanley. Alfred nearly cried, but he did accept and understand what Stanley was saying, so he went to collect some trucks. Soon Jason, Atlas and Alfred got miners in the trucks. The water level was rising fast. We have to get out of here, said Alfred. But what about Stanley, said Jason. He's decided to stay here, said Atlas. But Stanley, said Jason. Jason, he's decided to stay here. We have to go in his honour, said Atlas. Okay, sighed Jason. He didn't want to leave Stanley behind. Just then, Alfred, Atlas and Jason steamed out with the miners. Soon the 3 mine engines got to Bertram's old mine. They shunted the trucks into the mine and watched as the mines were destroyed. Everything must come to an end, said Stanley, and this is mine. Just then, with a massive burst, water came rushing through and flooded Stanley. Stanley, said Jason. Said Alfred, he will be remembered. But just then another problem rose. The water was rushing towards the engines. What are we going to do? Said Jason. I have no idea, said Alfred. However, they noticed some stone in front of the water. If we can put some more stone in its way, said Atlas, then the water can stop rushing over to us. Good idea, said Alfred. The miners got some slate from Bertram's old mine and built wall, and well, it worked. The water rushed over to the wall, but it was already beginning to lower a lot, so the water stopped at the stone wall. The people of Duke's village were also alright. They had built a brick wall there too, and the water level there was also lowering as it went into the ocean. However, this was being known as the Great Mid-Sodor Flood. This is what caused the Mid-Sodor Railway to close. Oh, well, Alice and Alfred did say that all the miners made it out. And yes, however, the day after the day came to close, the railway closed, and on this day of the flood, and the next day people came to buy the engines. The next day, all the engines went over to Duke's old shed, and they put the parts that had been taken off Stanley when he became a pumping engine in the ground next to, well, I'm not going to say. However, the mine engines were extremely sad. They no longer had a home. They had only known mine work as their main job for their entire life. Duke, Stuart and Falcon were sad too. They had only known the Mid-Sodor Railway as their home their entire life as well, or at least as their proper home. Then Jordan Edwards came. Engines, I am very sorry about what's happened with the mines. They have to close down the railway. With no mine work, there can be no more railway. Oh, said Duke. After long last, it comes to an end. However, don't be too sad just yet, said Jordan Edwards. People have came to buy their parts from this line, the old line, and some of your engines. The engines felt a little bit happier. They were still extremely sad that they could not work on their home. The last 6 remaining the first 5 of the engines have been working on the railway since the 1800s. And this, well, got them a lot outdated. Jason was the youngest and he was only built in the 1900s. However, the engines were still quite old. They were no longer fit for the work that they were having to be doing. At least, unless they got overhauled, which the Mid-Sodor Railway could not do. The Scarlet Railway people came to the railway and brought locations and all their rolling stock. Apart from Cora, Gertrude, Millicent, Ada, Jane and Mabel. Apart from them, they brought all of the rolling stock. And they brought the old iron bridge and some locations with them, but they didn't bring anything else. Then a heritage railway in Scotland came. They came and saw the old mine engines. Said the people from the heritage railway. They inspected the engines and they eventually came with an answer. We'll buy these engines, said the heritage railway people. So they paid Jordan Edwards and they steamed them off to Ulfstead Road, where the 3 engines would be loaded onto a lorry, taken up the road over to a station where some engines would take them over to the heritage railway in Scotland. Just then, some people that had a company and Sodor came. They said they eyed Stuart and Falcon. We'll take these for this Sodor Aluminium Company. What about me? Said Duke. And Smudger. Well, you see, Duke, said the Sodor Aluminium Company people, we don't want to overwork you both. It's very hard work there. Stuart and Falcon are younger and they can handle the new work. However, you, Duke, along with Smudger, you probably can't handle the work, and we think you're a bit too old for it. You are in your 60s after all. I suppose you're right, said Duke. And Smudger? Well, we don't need a pumping engine, and plus his pumping engine technology was outdated even by the time he was put into the shed. Oh, said Duke. No one had wanted Duke or Smudger, or any of the coaches that weren't bought. They thought, or even Cora, they thought they were too old for the work. So the workmen pushed Duke into his shed, as Stuart and Falcon spent what they thought was their last time with Duke. Goodbye, Granpuff, said Falcon. Goodbye, Granpuff, said Stuart. Hopefully we can see you again one day, and then we can keep you in order. The three engines tried to give a smile, but they were too sad. Stuart and Falcon went to Ulfstead Road to have the same thing done to them as what would be done with Atlas, Alfred and Jason. However, they wouldn't be sent to that Scottish Heritage Railway. They would be sent over to the Sodor Aluminium Company, where they would be taken by lorry all the way up to the Sodor Aluminium Company without being taken by rails. Duke's driver and fireman oiled and greased Duke one last time, and then they sheeted him up. We're so sorry, Duke, that this has happened to you, said his driver. We would preserve you if we could, said his fireman, but we don't have a company. Not even the Sodor Museum wants you. Oh, said Duke. He hadn't known that his Grace was no longer with him, and that his son was now his new Grace. The doors closed, and his driver and fireman went away. They had to go and find work, and they would become people who would work to keep the engines in the Sodor Museum in order and make sure they didn't rust away too much. And Jordan Edwards were going to retirement. He had enough money to keep him wealthy throughout the rest of his life. Duke, however, was worried. Oh well, said Duke. I'll go to sleep. That helps pass the time. It will help pass the time, he said. No one wants an old thing like me and Duke, said Smudger. The people of Dukeside Village and even Farmer Elm had tried to buy the railway. However, before the mines had closed to keep the railway running, however, that was never came to happen. And the mines closing lost all hope on people being able to buy the railway. However, in 1969, the Reverend Teddy Boston and Wilbert Audrey came to see Mr. Fergus Duncan, the controller of the Osdale line that ran over the old Mid-Sodor Railway. They wanted to try and find me, Duke, and that's what they did. They rode on a miniature gauge line for months upon months, trying to find me. However, at one point, they found Smudger. Suddenly, he had the very rare thing that happened to an engine. He was no longer with us, sadly. Robert Audrey decided not to have him in the books, however did allow him to appear in a TV show. However, at one point, they were lost, so they were seeking from on top of my shed, which they did not know at the time. And then, because the ground was so weak, the Reverend Teddy Boston fell through. "I did it by accident," he said. "Oh my, are you alright?" said Wilbert. He turned on the lamp to see me sleeping. "I found him," he said. Everyone came down as I woke up. Needless to say, I was not very happy. "Oh, that's today's nap done." "Are you a vandal?" I asked. "Driver told me vandals break and smash things." "Of course I'm not," said the Reverend Teddy Boston. "We dropped him because we couldn't find your door," said Wilbert Audrey. I was happy. "Oh, you found me," said Duke. "Yes, we have. It's so good to see you again, Wilbert. So good to see you again too, Duke. I'll be so glad to see His Grace." Then Sir Robert Normanby came. He was very happy to see the engine his father hadn't told him about for years. "Hello," said Duke. Who are you? You're not my Grace." "Oh, of course I am, Duke," said Sir Robert Normanby. "You see, my father was taken out in the war." "Oh, I'm so sorry for your loss," said Duke. "Don't worry though, Duke," said Sir Robert Normanby. "We will get you out in no time. We have brought some lorries to take you out. We'll be clearing away the dirt over the next couple hours." "Oh, thank you," said Duke. I was happy with excitement. I was finally being rescued. However, I still had one question. But Wilbert," I had asked. "Yes," he replied. "Is Smudger alright?" "Oh, Smudger," he replied. "You see, he's no longer with us. The 2 pumping engines gone," said Duke. "Quite right, Duke, quite right," said Wilbert. "However, we're happy that he was now with any other engines now being taken out. We were entering dieselization. We were happy that he could be with his own kind and wouldn't have to get scrapped. So we were happy for him. Just goes to show, don't be sad that someone's gone. Be happy that they're in a better place." They had to lift Duke out from the hole that the Reverend Teddy Boston had fallen through, and then they brought him out onto the ground. "This would never suit His Grace," said Duke. "I cannot be taken, not on the rails, and I cannot be taken off the rails either," said Duke. "And the same thing," said His Grace. "I suppose you're right," said Duke. Just then, many people all around the world and Sodor came to see Duke. They had all heard about his rescue, and they all wanted to see him, even if he was just at a once of a lifetime opportunity. He couldn't stay cross for long. "Oh, I say thank you," said Duke. "It's been so long since I've seen anybody." Everyone cheered for him. And then 2 honks were heard. "I wonder who's that?" I said. And then I saw 2 lorries coming. One lorry had my old friend Gary the breakdown crane on it, and another lorry had rails on it for me to be taken away on. "Oh, Gary, my old friend, it's so nice to see you again," said Duke. "It's so nice to see you too," said Gary. "Time to get you on this flatbed." So they did that, and then I was taken to the Scarlowy Railway. I was put into a replica shed and a replica location of the old Ardsdale railway sheds where Stuart and Falcon used to sleep. It was right beside Granpuff Works, so I could be put into the works right after this would be taken up. It was not meant to be permanent. And then I got the biggest surprise, but the best one of all. Granpuff! Granpuff! Stuart, Falcon, Granpuff! We're so glad you came back. But you do know my day. Engines were seen and not heard. Seen and not heard. We know that, Granpuff, said Falcon. The two were sporting similar liveries than what they had on the mid-Sodor days. You, Stuart, told me that after your accident with your funnel, your engines were painted in separate liveries so the trucks wouldn't mix your engines up. That was quite right. I thought your new liveries with that red lining, those silver side rods, the buffers, they didn't really suit you in my opinion, but I was happy to keep my brown paint. I was then restored to working service, and Falcon went over to, well, you know, the Italian railway, and I think he damaged his eye there, didn't you? I'm pretty sure I did. And that's how the story ends. And that is how the story ends. That is how the story ends. And that is how the story ends. That was a good story, Granpuff. Yes, even if it took you from 2020 to now to tell it. I know, said Duke. Say, said Duncan, what's happened to Atlas and Alfred? Well, they worked on that Scottish Heritage Railway for a long time, until 2015 when they were brought over to the Sodor Museum, where they still are today. "Ah, that's very nice," said Phineas. "Yes, it is," said Scarlowy. But Granpuff," said Sir Handel. "Yes, Falcon?" "There's one problem." "What is it?" "How did Bertram come to the railway?" I do not know." "Hello everyone, I have a train to take tomorrow from Grosvenor Gate over to the Blue Mountain Railway, so I'll be having to sleep here tonight." Bertram? "Well, you see, how did you come to this railway, Bertram? I was trying to finish off the mid-hour stories from the mid-Sodor. However, I don't know how you came to the island. No, this railway." "Well, you see, it's a bit of a long story." "Tell it us, please. We're all wanting to know." "Okay," said Bertram. To be continued in Bertram and the Mines.